Coming up on Boleros, a way too early top 5 point guards of season 88. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Mr. Maui Yap. And by the way, guys, merong magbabalik today. Meron tayong special guest. Matagal na natin siyang hindi nakikita. We're very excited to introduce him. So, you saw in the intro kanina and probably in the title, we're going to discuss our way too early top 5 point guards of season 88. So, March pa lang guys ha, pero meron na tayong list. Gab, I think you worked on this list, so you're going to present it to us, kami ni Maui. We haven't seen this list yet, so we are going to react to this list. But I think you worked on this list with our special guest. Do you want to introduce him?
So, of course, I'm gonna introduce our special guest because we really haven't seen this guy for a long time, and we haven't
OG
done
Snow.
this segment. Oh, we haven't done this segment in a long time. I think season 87 we didn't do this segment.
Hindi yata.
But we're gonna go back to PoloGab's top 5. The top 5
Oh
point
my
guards
God,
for
PoloGab.
season 88. Yes. Credits to my wife who made this slide deck and who used these pictures because she's back when she was still trying to convince me to wear a polo in this, in our podcast. But
Unfortunately, nanalo yung hashtag Sandogab. Pinavote natin, PoloGab or
Yes.
Sandogab. Unfortunately, nanalo Sandogab. Sad.
yes. And this is from our prenup. So I think the ROI from the prenup photos are as now sulit na. Sulit na yung prenup photos namin ng asawa ko. So let's get to it. I'm gonna go one by one. The top 5, the thing for now, the top 5 point guards I foresee for UAP season 88. Again, this might change. We might do this sometime in June, July, or near to the season. Baka may bagong point guard pala na dumating na mas magaling. Or someone in the preseason is having a better, is playing better, is playing out of his mind. May sudden improvement bigla. So this might change, no? But we're doing it this early. The guys we know are coming back for UAP season 88. Now, sana hindi ito cursed. Kasi I do remember one of our shorts was cursed. Mason Amos transferred and then si Jonel Policarpio
Left.
umalis ng Lasal. Hopefully this list is not cursed. So I am gonna start from the top. Okay? Yeah, look at that handsome dude. Look at that handsome dude. Back when hindi pa nagbabayad ng bills yung handsome dude na yan. Agree.
Okay, sorry, technical difficulties. Hindi kinaya ng computer yung kagwapuhan ni PoloGab. Gab, who's your number 1 point guard?
My number 1 point guard for UAP season 88 is Fortsky Padrigao. Maybe a bit controversial because, maybe a certain fan base might find that their point guard is better than Fortsky, but I still think si Fortsky ang top point guard. Yes, he's had some shooting struggles. Did not end season 87 well. He was ejected in their final 4 against UP. But in terms of running an offense, controlling the game, there is no one better than Fortsky Patrigao, in my opinion. He's an underrated defender. He's not the fastest guard out there, but he's a pretty smart point guard. He can lock you up defensively. In my opinion, he can break. I've seen him break all kinds of presses in his time with Ateneo and in his time in UST. Very smart. I think he's probably the smartest player right now since nawala na si KQ. He's probably the smartest player left in the UAAP. There's a reason that as a sophomore in Ateneo, he won a Mythical 5 selection. He was a starting point guard that replaced SJ Benongel and had the confidence of Coach Tab Baldwin, and he has the confidence now of Coach Pidoren. So I think he's uh, if you see his interaction with the bench and with Coach Pido, it's obvious that he has the confidence of that coaching staff, and they'll be looking to contend. They are contenders for the upcoming season with Nick Caballero back and him back, and hopefully si Motong Cara back if that situation ever gets cleared up. So I still think si Forsky ang top point guard for the UAAP. He might not score a lot, but in terms of distributing the basketball, getting his teammates in the right spots, there is no one better in the UAAP. Maui, Sam, reactions, violent reactions, if any.
I think hindi surprising that you pick Fortsky, di ba? We love how Fortsky plays. I really thought that he had an argument the past few seasons the best point guard. So for more season pa lang, mythical team member sa Ateneo, I actually expected him to be pro na at this time of his career, but due to unwelcome circumstances, he had to sit out one season, and then now he's entering his final season in the UAAP. Ito na yun. He has to give everything he has and try to get to the KBL. Di ba? Kailangan na. If Kagulangan can get to the KBL, I think Fortsky has that potential also to get to the KBL and make an impact. Di ba? He's a tall point guard, a very lanky point guard. He has a court vision. Maybe he has to improve his shot decision making. I think that has been the case since his Ateneo days, but it should be a big year for UST this coming season. And for that to happen, Fortsky Padriga will have to have a big year. He'll have to make the mythical team for them to be a top 2 team in the UAAP. So let's go. I think Fortsky can be that number 1 point guard.
Actually, Maui, you were saying something about shot selection. Actually, his shot selection when he was in Ateneo was pretty good. His percentage was not as abysmal as it was in season 87. I'm not sure what happened. I think there's a clear difference in style of play from Coach Tab to Coach Pido. There are times na si Forsky just forced up those long threes, parang bailout shots. Yes, he did that in Ateneo, but there was a lot of times that he was getting to his spot in the paint to his floaters, you get into the rim more. There's a lot less of that here in UST. I'm not sure. I think he still has that the better shot selection. I've seen it before in Ateneo, so I hopefully he recovers that because I've seen him be more efficient from the field. I don't know what happened in season 87 why his field goal percentage suddenly took a deep dive. Sammy.
I'm actually not mad at this pick. Meron akong isa pang point guard na iniisip that could be the top. We'll see where that point guard will land. But I think you can argue na Fortsky would be one of the top point guards right now. Or if not the top. Isipin mo lang from his UAAP credentials, UAAP champ, Mythical 5 member, also one of the vets, sabi nga ni Maui, it's his last year. A guy that has played against other top quality point guards like si Evanele, I'm trying to think, si Jerome Lastimosa, JD Kagulan, Jerome Lastimosa yung nawawala sa isip ko. Jerome Lastimosa, JD Kagulangan. So, this guy has proven himself before. So, I think he's gone through a lot. He's experienced. But maganda yung point mo, Maui. Something that I did not think about. It's a prove-it year for him. It's his last year. If he wants to go abroad, he needs to go all out. So, just with that point from Maui, I think that's a good pick for Fortsky to ball out this year.
So, I think the guy that you're saying that you had in mind, Sammy, I think he's my number 2. So, my number 2 is Ray Remogat from UP. Another Mythical 5 team member when he last played in season 86. Some might argue he's better than Fortsky. He's a better scorer, better shooter. I don't think he's a better facilitator than Fortsky Padriga. I still think si Fortsky is the better facilitator of yung for Ray Remogat. Why I didn't put him number 1? before magalit sa akin yung mga UP fans who are now Ray Remogat fans because he's gonna play for them. Before magalit sa akin, let me just put some reasoning there. Again, better facilitator for me si Fortsky Patrigao. And for the next UAP season, Ray Remogat is not gonna be the same high usage guy that he was in UE. He's pretty much unproven when he's playing with a lot better team with better players, with better teammates. In his lone mythical 5 season with UE, he was playing with sino yung capable players na kasama niya, like si Precious Momoway, maybe yung shooters niya si Ethan Galang at si Jack Cruz Tumot. Not the same type of quality he's gonna play with in UP, di ba? In UP, may kalaban siya in Harold Alarcon who also needs the ball to be effective. There's Francis Lopez who also needs the ball. So, very unproven si Ray Mogat when he's playing with better players. Let's see if he's the same type of high usage guy, as the same type of scorer when he's playing with other effective scorers beside him. Also, I think Fortsky is the better defender than Ray Mogat. In his lone season as the main point guard in UE, he wasn't exactly a lockdown defender because he carried such a heavy load on offense. But yeah, he was being torched a lot of the time by opposing guards and being taken advantage of in the inside. So I still give the edge to Fortsky Padrigao. I think Ray Mogat is still up there as a top tier scorer, a top tier shooter. Whether he can facilitate in UP's offense, it remains to be seen. I am bullish on it. I think he can. He's an excellent pick and roll creator. But we'll see. No, the ball is not gonna be in his hands most of the time. That's my thing with Ray Mogat. He was pretty effective in UE when lahat ng plays sa kanya. Hindi ganun sa UP. Hindi lahat ng plays sa kanya. So whether he can play off the ball is also something I'm interested to watch in the upcoming season. But he's locked in as a starting point guard. I don't think Felicilda is taking that from him.
Malay mo.
Kahit na siya yung mag-start, I think yung majority ng minutes, pumunta kayo yung kay Remogat. Sorry, Jan, but I think you're, again, the backup. It's gonna be yung Ray Remogat's team. Sammy, Maui. Ito ba yung naisip mo, Sam? Si Ray?
Actually, hindi. So, Maui, ikaw muna. Maui,
Wow!
Hindi rin si Ray ang inisip ko na pwede kong top point guard. Medyo wild card ko sa akin. But, yeah, very good Very good so far from what I've been hearing from sources sa UP. This guy has been a force and they're excited to get him to play point guard. Yung ganda ng timing kasi they lose Kagulangan but they get a very good point guard in Remogat. Somebody's proven, somebody who's very flashy. I'm sure the UP crowd will love this guy. Diba? If they love Fortea taking those long 3-point shots, I'm sure si Remogat will have a few and a lot of alley-oops, a lot of crazy passes. I'm expecting that. Remogat was electric nung UE days niya. And I think the biggest question right now is what Gab mentioned. What kind of usage will Ray Remogat get this coming season? And number 2, how will he defend? I think that's one of the that's very important to Coach Gold's system. So he wants all of his guys to be good defenders. Diba? That's something we haven't seen with Remogat. We've seen him score, we've seen him play make, we've seen him be flashy, but we haven't seen him play for a championship contender team. Diba? So maybe there will be some growing pains when you talk about Remogat. But it would be crazy to see si Felicilda play a lot more minutes than Remogat. Same reason that it was crazy for Felicilda to play more minutes than Remogat, than Kagulangan in previous seasons. Same reaction, magiging reaction namin. I would say, I can speak for myself. But from what I've been hearing, grabe yung so far maganda yung pinapakita ni Remogat. There have been fears that he might go pro before even suiting up a UP jersey. That's how good he was. I think in international tournaments that UP has been in. So let's see. What turn around. Losing Kagulangan and gaining Remogat for UP. Bawal bakante ang top point guard slot sa UP.
Yeah. So I agree. I think yun yung key thing doon, Maui, 'di ba? Na we're hearing a lot of people say na he's been dominating yung mga exhibition games, even yung mga international games niya. So that's something to look forward to if you're a UAAP fan. Actually, like Ray Mogat is probably in my top 3 list. I just nung sinabi mo kasi Gab na so I don't mind him being number 2, but when you said na your number 1 is more of a wild card, iba yung naisip ko. So, maybe he's the next one. But defense, in terms of defense, yeah, I think Fortsky is a better defender. Sabi mo nga, better playmaker. But Ray Remogat is not a scrub, diba? Like, he's also a good playmaker. He can play make. And he's good at playing yung passing lanes. He does get a couple of steals. I remember there was like a game na he had like 5 steals or something, even more, something like that. So, we'll see. We'll see how Coach Gold will use Ray Remogat. I miss watching this guy. He's definitely one of the more fun point guards to watch in the past. Sana nandun pa rin yung fun part when he plays for UP, but I'm excited to watch this guy play for the Fighting Maroons. But sige, Gab, let's move on to your next pick.
Okay, so my next pick, I think a bit more controversial also. I'm not sure if this guy was also. He's probably not. I think I know the point guard that the two of you guys are talking about. But for me, it's still Kian Baklaan who's number 3. I think we have forgotten a lot how good Kian Baklaan actually was for NU. He was the offense at times for NU. He was the guy taking over games, clutch shot after clutch shot, play after play. It's him. He's just like yung Ray Mogat. But I have the same questions for him as I did with yung Ray Mogat. How will he play beside other more talented players? Again, NU was talented, definitely. But they're not as talented as Lasal. He's playing beside Jacob Cortez, who might appear on this list. He's playing beside Mason Amos. He's playing beside Mike Phillips. He's playing beside sila Makalalag, Dungo, Marasigan. Guys who can also make plays, diba? On the offensive end. So, that's a big question mark to me. Same as Ray Mogat. How will he handle a lesser usage rate? Diba? The ball is not gonna be in his hands all the time as it was in NU. But I still believe in this guy. Another guy, just like Ray Mogat, a guy that's very exciting to watch. You know, when he drives to the basket, yung mga beatin niya, yung mga creative layups niya, still a very dynamic scorer, a very good shooter for yung from the outside, yung end from the mid-range. Wag lang siya mag-faking a foul. Siguro yun yung pinaka yung maganda yung panoorin sa kanya, yung mga jump shots niya. We saw him rip off games where he had 5 or more threes, just carried the offense for NU. I know you're gonna argue for Jacob Cortez. Someone is gonna argue from the two of you for Jacob Cortez. But Jacob Cortez played in the NCAA. He's unproven in the UAAP. Kian Baklaan is proven in the UAAP. He's a star in the UAAP. I like Kian Baklaan more right now than Jacob Cortez. So that's just me. I think he's still the better shooter and scorer between Cortez and him. And I still put him on a pedestal between the two Lasal point guards. And yes, he's a point guard. He mainly played point guard in NU. He's not a shooting guard despite him starting beside yung Jacob Cortez. Maui, Sam, one of you is gonna argue for Jacob Cortez. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Ako,
Well, ako, I was expecting Jacob Cortez. Maui.
Ako, I would argue na siguro na hype lang ako masyado with the clips then when watching na sa nito off season. I would argue that Jacob Cortez will surprise as a top point guard.
Yep.
In UAAP.
Siya din yung pick ko na akala kong controversial.
Wild card
point
pick.
guard.
Wild card pick
wild
ko,
card
top
pick,
point
wild
guard.
card pick.
Even may laban kala Fortsky. That's how much I think. I just feel this type of vibe with Jacob Cortez. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of watching the Cool Cat before sa Lasal. He has that
Cool
swag.
cat din to no?
Cool Cat din eh.
May
But
swag din, no?
I understand why si Kian Baclaan should be in the list. Kasi it's a proven commodity di ba? Gab is right. Di ba? We see a lot of UAAP players transfer to the NCAA and dominate. That's us, Robert Bolick. That's us, Clint Echamis. Dami. Even point guards.
Yeah, good point, Gab.
Di ba? I think si Jacob Cortez is a good case study. Di ba? Kasi it's not always that we see a star player from the NCAA decide to move to the UAAP and see if he can be a top dog. Diba? So magandang case study. But so far from what I've seen, I've loved what I've seen with Jacob Cortez and with Coach Topex. Yung track record ni Coach Topex, diba? Remember before he used to handle yung Marcelino twins. So I wouldn't be surprised if these two guys, despite having high usage players with them, will still put up crazy numbers and will still dominate games. Diba? Baka magpalitan lang tong dalawa. But if I were to put money, I love how si Jacob Cortez plays. Kasi I think he has more playmaking capabilities than si Kian Baclaan. Kian Baclaan as a scorer, without a doubt, we cannot question that in the UAAP. Kasi we've already seen him diba? We have already seen him dominate as a player, as a starting point guard on a Final Four contender. Diba? With NU. So, it's gonna be interesting to see, but I think that both players will be successful this season. Diba? They will lead the offense. That's a very big hole left by Kevin Tiambao in usage. And I think both players will get all that usage. And I would think that they would actually lessen yung playmaking capabilities ni Mike Phillips and use him more as a role man.
So before you start, Sammy, I know you're gonna argue for Jacob Cortez over Kian Baclaan also, but he was my number 4.
Okay.
Despite not seeing him yet in the UAAP, same with Maui. I've loved what I've seen in preseason leagues from Jacob Cortez. I think he's gonna. I agree. I think he's the better playmaker of between him and Baclaan. I do think he's gonna run the offense more than Kian. Kian, I think, is gonna be more the off guard or the shooting guard spot. So, despite me ranking Kian high, I do think very highly of Jacob Cortez. I can't put him number 1 though. I mean, come on, we haven't seen
Again, this is
play.
way too early. Way too early
Way too
prediction,
early.
yeah.
Maybe pagdating ng the next Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup or the
Hanggang hindi Phil Oil, walang totoo. Ako, yun yung ano ko.
Yung sa Phil Oil, he's putting up 20 and 10 or whatever. Sorry. So, if he does that, maybe I'll put him to number 2 or yung or number 1. But I can't put him number 1 right now. I haven't seen him play against top UAAP yung competition yet. So, that's what. But the fact that he's here at my number 4 shot, I think that says how highly I think of Jacob Cortez. And the fact that there are 2 LaSalle point guards here just goes to show you how loaded they are for next season.
Grabe.
So, wow. Sammy.
Despite losing everyone, diba? Despite losing everyone.
Oo nga Yeah, just gusto ko lang mag-comment dun sa sinabi ni Maui. etong si Jacob Cortez tsaka si Kian Baclan, this is like the Marcelino twins on steroids. Like all the steroids that they can get. Kasi ibang level itong dalawa. I mean, I'm sure Coach Topex is very excited to put out this lineup for season 88. So I do Yun, so si Jacob Cortez was the guy that I was thinking that you would put like in number 2 instead of Remogat. I do put a premium. I understand yung argument mo, Gab. And actually, I was thinking about it when you were explaining and medyo na-convince mo ako na he should be ranked lower. But the reason why I considered him for number 2 was because I put a premium on yung championship experience. And Jacob Cortez, kahit na nasa NCAA siya naglaro before, he is still an NCAA champion. He's the King Lion. Honestly, I don't think people really expected that San Beda team to win the championship. I think Mapua was the favorites or hindi nga baka iba pang team Benilde or something. So I do credit Jacob Cortez for willing that team to a championship. And yung mga na-mention yun na, yung preseason stuff, I don't know, I'm actually worried about Jacob Cortez because he's going to play for LaSalle, a team that I don't normally cheer for, diba? And I think he will dominate. So, I'm high on him, but to your point, Gab, he hasn't proven himself sa UAAP. Kian Baclaan has proven himself, has dominated against top point guards and top defenses in the UAAP. So, I can't argue with you on that. Also, you know the guy that beat Jacob Cortez? Jacob Cortez won the championship. But you know the guy who beat him for the MVP that season? Clint Escamis. A guy that was not the top point guard in the UAAP but beat him in the MVP voting. So, I don't know, baka Gab, you sort of convinced me there. Oo nga, no, Clint Escamis was not like top of mind, top 5 point guard nung time niya sa UAAP but he became a top point guard in the NCAA. So, baka yung competition doon is slightly lower. Nothing against Clint Escamis, like he deserves the MVP. He's really, really good now. So yeah, Jacob Cortez has to prove himself in the UAAP. So I see your point, Gab. I see your point.
So thank you. But number 2 is too high for me, Sam. I would not have put him there. So for the last, will we go to a homer pick?
Huwag ka magkakamali.
Sino pa ba? Tingnan natin.
I'm sorry, but it's not who you guys are thinking. To me, it's John Abate.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I could go with JB, yung Jared Bahay. I could go with the Janray Pasaol, yung possibly. But I think John Abate is, right now, I think he's a better point guard than any of the other point guards left. My reasoning. I think he's a better shooter than the other point guards that are left. He's a better defender than the other point guards. He's bigger. Yes, he fell off a little bit. Not a little bit. He fell off in the second round for UE. I have no idea why his minutes were cut in the second round. But the first round showed me that this guy is top quality. He's a quality point guard. He can take over a game when needed. He can create his own shot. He can score. He can shoot. He can run the pick and roll. I think Coach Chris Gavina will find a way to utilize a guy like John Abate. I really like this guy. I have no idea why he suddenly took a backseat to guys like Cruz Dumont, to si Maga, maintindihan ko, pero to Gerard Wilson. I think he's better than those guys, to be honest. So yeah, I put him up there. I think he's a better defender than the others. Guys like Jared Bahay and Janry Pas all struggled from the field for majority of the season. You can argue for them here, and I'm sure Mr. Mariano Yap will argue for a guy like Jared Bahay after I say this. But I think John Abate deserves a spot among the top point guards in the UAAP right now. Again, that first round, the play that he showed in the first round of season 87 is, I think, top quality John Abate, and that's enough for me to put him here as my number 5 point guard coming into season 88. Reactions, Maui, you were shaking your
Maui!
head. Go ahead.
Yung Ateneo fan.
Grabe talagang di talaga nalagay si Bahay. So shocked ako. But understandable naman, 'di ba? Kasi si Abate really showed yung potential niya last season, and much like Gab, I think kami ni Sammy can say the same. We were shell-shocked in second round why he wasn't getting enough minutes after what he showed. I think a 3-game stretch niya last season, di ba? Parang sinasabi ko pa nga siya yung best point guard. May argument siya as the best point guard in the UAAP last year, and all of a sudden, when UAE started to falter, he wasn't getting minutes. So that was a bit weird. I don't know if nagka-internal issues ba with Coach Jack. It's gonna be interesting to see how he fits in with Coach Gavina's new system. Di ba? Kasi yung system ni Coach Jack before was very fast-paced, a lot of three-point shooting, floor spacing. So let's see how it goes. I think Coach Chris will run a similar system. Diba? He's from the US. He plays international basketball coach in Taiwan. I think he will play a similar system with si Coach Jack. But grabe, wala si Bahay. Ipapahiya ka ni Bahay. I would sure.
Maui.
Gab.
Maui.
Bulletin board material. I'm sending this podcast to Jared Bahay. He's gonna take a screenshot of this list. Nandun yun sa bulletin board material niya to for season 88.
Use it as inspiration. Pero, Maui, have you seen how Jared Bahay plays defense? He's a sieve. He can't play defense. He doesn't play defense. He does not. He's just not. Right now, he's a bad defender. There's a reason why Ian Espinosa.
Yeah.
gets even half of his minutes because he's such a bad defender right now. I watched all Ateneo games last season. I know how bad of a defender Jared Bahay is. Yes, he's a better facilitator, a better scorer than Ian Espinosa, maybe even better than John Abate. But John Abate is a better defender. I cannot put Jared Bahay here with his atrocious defense. I'm sorry.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, sorry Sam. If he was a decent defender, maybe I would, rank him higher, put him at number 5 here. But the fact that he's not even a decent defender is something that I cannot forgive. You can't be a top 5 point guard in the UAAP and essentially be a liability on defense. Just and he's not as good on offense yet as a Ray Mogat to overshadow his liability on
Magandang
to
argument.
compensate.
Yeah,
Magandang argument.
For the defense.
he had one big scoring game the entire season.
Inconsistent siya
Jared
last
Bahay
season.
did. So for the majority of the season, he was atrocious from the field. He couldn't get his shot to fall. So the same argument I have for John Ray Pasaol. He had 2 or 3 good games. The others, he was shit. He's a better defender, than maybe si Bahay. But,
Magaling siya sumayaw.
magaling siya sumayaw, yes. Si John Ray. But there were more bad games than good for guys like Jared Bahay or John Ray Pasaol. For guys like si Matt Erolon, too inconsistent, man. He has to show me more, si Matt Erolon. But si John Abate for me yung stands out among the remaining point guards. But it just goes to show how talented a number of the point guards are in the UAAP. There are a lot of good guards. Ang dami mong pagpipilian kung gusto mong makakuha ng magandang guard. And guys, tandaan nyo when we were forming a team from the other
I was gonna say that
schools,
nga. Si Abate pinili
that you wanted
natin.
to compete. Yung that you wanted to compete with the UP or Lasal. We picked John Abate. Because a guy who can set up the offense can get his own basket.
Maganda size.
It's big. And it's big. Yeah,
Maganda
exactly.
size.
Ang laki niya yung for a point guard. So ako, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to John Abate. He's older too. More developed yung kanyang katawan. So si John Abate for me, I know ang sakit sa puso ni Maui Yap na wala yung si Jared Bae dito.
He will
Pero
prove
not
you
yet.
wrong this season.
Oh.
Uh,
Maybe once mag-fill oil and he's shooting better, he's dominating already the offense and he's scoring mga 12 to 15 points a game, maybe I can put him here, consider him. And most important for me, just improve on defense, JB. Come on, Jared Bahay. Just have some semblance of good defense because halata pang yung pang wala si Ian Espinosa sa court. That's how bad his defense is. When Ian Espinosa is on the court, the Ateneo defense is just much better. So, the fact na ako napansin ko yun, that's a knock against Jared Bae. But go ahead, Jared. Use this as bulletin board material. Go ahead. Because I want to see you improve. At least na ako. Gusto ko makita mag-improve ka at gumaling Ateneo. Of course I do. So, yeah, but not now. I'm sorry, Jared Bae. Not now. Sammy.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I also picked Jarrett Bahay. I think for me, upside potential alone, I think Jarrett Bahay would be the obvious pick. But I admit he was not consistent last season defensively. There's room for improvement. Sabihin na lang natin ganon. So if you're picking, siguro kung pipili ka ng vet or a more established guy, John Abate is a good pick. Erolon, I would also consider upside. Jared Bahay definitely. You mentioned si sino yung isang na-mention mo? Si Pasaol. I was gonna mention like iniisip ko going through the other teams. NU ba meron? Would you put like Humamoy as a
when I was
guard?
going through NU, there's
Wag mo
a
na.
time
Steve Nash?
split. There's a time
Wag mo na
split
ilagay.
between the three.
Garcia
Huwag mo na ilagay
pa,
si
diba?
Humamoy.
So, it seems like yun, dun sa mga natira, then you can really argue it's probably between John Abate and Jared Bahay, diba? So, it really depends on what you're gambling or betting on. Do you want like a vet, a proven guy with size, or tumatawag na si Jared Bahay kay Maui, Gab. Galit na siya. Galit na siya. Or do you go for upside, which is Jared Bahay? I'm sure in the future, Jared Bahay will prove you wrong. He'll go back to this video. I'd like to see that, diba? So, yun. I was expecting Jared Bahay, John Abate. Okay, I'm not super mad at it, but I'm surprised.
And thank you guys. And that's it. Those are for now, my top 5 point
Way
guards
too
for
early.
UAP.
Top
Way
5.
too early. Top 5 point guards for UAP season 88. Forsky Patrigao, Ray Ramogat, Ian Baclaan, Jacob Cortez, and John Abate. I like this because iba-iba yung rankings nating tatlo. So, this turned out way better than what I imagined it.
Revisit
it
natin.
Yeah, we will
Tapos sa
revisit
Pinay
this.
Liga, tsaka ng
We will
Philoil.
revisit this. Go ahead, Sammy. You can say goodbye to the fans.
That's it for today's episode. Comment down below what are your way too early top 5 point guards of season 88. Ano reaction nyo sa picks namin, sa picks ni Gab? Kung galit kayo, please email Mr. Gab Lims, Sultan of Sando at boleros.com. De joke lang.
Padala nyo
Comment,
kay Bahay.
subscribe. Padala nyo kay Bahay, please. Yung mga kaibigan ni Jared Bahay, kaibigan ni Jacob Cortez, padalan nyo na lang sa kanya yung video na to. We'll see you again next time. We'll talk about the other positions. Bye-bye.